Hey yo, what's up G? It's Gains.by Fitting here, and in this video I'm going to be going over the 5 biggest mistakes that engineers make in the gym. So I feel like a lot of guys have this mindset that if they train for strength, they're going to be able to build the body that they want, but what they need to understand is there are 2 different methods. There is a good method for gaining strength, and then there's more of a better method for gaining the aesthetic body, all right? So if you're training like a powerlifter, you're probably gonna lift like a powerlifter, but a lot of guys are wanting that aesthetic bodybuilder type look. And I'm gonna show you the 5 mistakes that a lot of smart men make. So let's talk about mistake number 1. You're training for strength instead of training for hypertrophy. So here's the problem. You're chasing numbers instead of chasing muscle. It's not enough to add 5 pounds per week and track your 1 rep max. You need to understand that strength training and muscle building are not the same. They're 2 sides of the same coin, but there are methods for each case. So here's the science. Strength training is about your nervous system getting better at recruiting muscle fibers, but hypertrophy is about actually growing those muscle fibers. Different stimulus does different results. Just doing 3 sets of 5, 85% of your max is going to get you strong, but it's not creating enough volume or time under tension for muscle growth. So let's talk about the fix. This is what actually gave me results. Switching from the 3 to 5 heavy sets to 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Around 65 to 75% of my max. This is the same actual exercises, but I'm changing the rep ranges to engage my muscles in a more efficient way to build them. For example, instead of incline Smith machine pressing 275 pounds for 5 reps, I started to do 205 pounds for 10 to 12 reps with perfect form. So this not only benefited me some strength, but it also allowed me to get the goal I'm really going for, and that's building that aesthetic physique. Mistake number 2, ignoring tempo and time under tension. You don't want to lift like you're trying to set a speed record, all right? You throwing the weight up, just willy-nilly doing whatever the fuck you want to do and expecting results. When you go into the gym, you want to train with purpose, like you're on a mission and you're in there for a specific goal, and that is to build a body that looks incredible. That's you treating every rep like it's a CrossFit competition. Muscle growth happens during the eccentric. That is the lowering portion when you lift, okay? So the issue is if you're doing all that fast ass rep ranges, you're not allowing your body to experience that eccentric portion. So here's the solution. The tempo for muscle should be 2-1-2-1. That means for 2 seconds you go down and you pause. 2 seconds you go up, and then 1 second you rest at the top. Here's an example. If I were to do, say, weighted wide grip pull-ups, I'm gonna lower myself down for 2 seconds, and when I lower myself, I'm gonna pause for 1 second. Then I'm gonna lift myself up in a 2-second interval, and at the top I'm gonna pause for 1 second, and I'm gonna repeat this process as I continue the reps. That one movement is 1 rep. That is how you should approach a particular lift that you do when you're doing your training. All right, so when you do this, you're gonna have to lower your weight by 20 to 30%, but your muscles are gonna actually experience that tension that they need to actually grow properly. For me personally, bro, I don't ego lift. I don't give a fuck about trying to impress nobody. I'm in there to look incredible. Fuck all that other shit. You can look at me, think I'm fucking weak. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, when I'm done, I'm gonna look great, and whoever's judging and looking like that is probably not happy with themselves. That's pretty much what it is. You can train how you wanna train. I'm gonna train how I'm gonna train, and I'm gonna get the results I'm looking for. All right, so getting into my experience, as I stated, for me, I dropped the fucking ego, okay? For instance, on dips, I went from doing 2 45 plates on a wide grip dip to actually just 1 45 plate and actually struggling because I was implementing that 2-1-2-1 tempo that actually builds muscle. All right, so let's get into mistake number 3. That is gonna be the wrong rest periods. Here's the problem. You're resting like you're training for powerlifting. You finish a set and immediately you wanna pull out your phone and start scrolling on TikTok, looking at IG. You're spending about 5 minutes of fucking around before you go to your next set. This is good for strength. This is not a bad thing if you want to build strength. When it comes to trying to actually build muscle, this is just a fucking waste of your time and you don't want to do it. So here's the science. For hypertrophy, you need 60 to 90 seconds between sets. With this, your muscles stay in a state of metabolic stress, and this is one of the key drivers of building great muscle mass. These short rest periods create the burning sensation and pump that actually signals your muscles to grow. It's very, very critical. All right, so here's the application of this. You want to set a timer on your phone, 60 seconds for isolation exercises. That's movements like bicep curls. And then for a more compound lift, say like bench press or squats, you want to set your timer to about a 90-second increment. All right, bro, for me, the timer hack was a game changer. Workouts got more intense, pumps got better, and my muscle actually started to respond to the lift that I was engaging with, okay? I actually started getting results when I had a time crunch on how long I should rest. All right, so let's get into mistake number 4. That's not understanding RIR. That is reps in reserve. Here's the problem. Either you go balls to wall every set or you leave too much in the fucking tank. As engineers, we tend to have binary thinking. It's either 100% or it's nothing. You either train to complete failure every set, then burn out, or you play it safe and you don't challenge your muscles. You don't put your muscles in that rigorous gauntlet that's going to allow them to build and grow. Here's the sweet spot. The concept that would change your training is RIR that we talked about, the reps in reserve. This is how many more reps could you have done if someone put a fucking gun to your head? How many reps would you do if your life depended on it? That's what you gotta think about. So muscle growth, you want to have 1 to 3 in RIR. That means when you stop, you could have done 1 to 3 more reps with perfection. You want to stop at that 1 to 3 reps in the tank when you train, all right? That's the hack. So for the practical application, if you're doing bicep curls for 10 reps, rep 10 should be challenging, but not fucking impossible. You should be able to do maybe 1 to 2 more with good form, but rep 13 would be impossible. This is gonna allow you to work hard enough to stimulate growth without completely frying your nervous system. Get into mistake number 5. That is program hopping and lack of progressive overload. This is what I'm talking about, where guys will see one routine and they get so fucking thrilled to do it. They try it out for a bit. Then they see another fucking routine. They want to try this new routine. They just can't fucking stick to a plan that's going to allow them to actually get results. So here's the solution. Muscle growth requires progressive overload over time. That means gradually increasing the demand on your muscle week after week, month after month. You can't evaluate a program only after 2 weeks. You need to give it time, right? This is what I recommend when it comes to trying a new routine. Give it about 12 weeks. Track your progress. See if it's working before you take that next step and try something completely new. You want to track your list. If you did 135 pounds for 10 on the bench press this week, then next week maybe aim to do 135 for 11 reps. And then the week after, maybe bump it up to 140 for 10 reps. So you're implementing that progressive overload. You're having your rep range in the most optimal range that's going to put your muscles into stress. So you're doing all these variables correctly. That is the most efficient way to build a great body. The mindset shift. This is what I want you to think about. Consistency and small improvements over time is going to be a perfect program for 2 weeks. It's all about consistency. Your diet is all about consistency. How much you work out is all about consistency. Your plan is all about consistency. The key is consistency, not perfection. So let's put all this shit together, all right? You can have the disciplined analytical mindset to build an incredible physique. You have the analytical mind. You need to direct that energy into the right variables. Just like you can engineer your way to a great career, you need to think about the same shit when you want to create the body that is going to make people turn heads. All right, it's the same fucking thing. So stop chasing numbers on the bar and start chasing the pump. Control the tempo and manage your rest periods. Understand your effort levels and pick a program that you can stick with. All right, bro, so these are the 5 mistakes that I think a lot of engineers make, a lot of smart guys make when they go into the gym, and ways that they can overcome them and practice more efficient methods that actually is going to give them the results that they're searching for. Hey, bro, I hope this shit helps, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.